GN Sports.
Holy cow! Yes!
Ain't it good to be back home again after 10 days on the road to Texas, Ohio, and Texas again? The Sox play host to the St. Louis Cardinals, the third-place team in the National League Central, for some interleague play. Thanks for joining us once again. Jason Benetti, Steve Stone along with you. And last we saw the Cardinals in very early May, Matt Carpenter had fallen on hard times but was hitting the ball very hard. The numbers are up now.
And now he's hitting the ball very hard, but they're finding a safe place to land because over the last 5, he's hitting .294. Overall, 17 home runs, 41 driven in, but he's the hottest of all the Cardinals right now and leading the way at the top of the order. So if he gets on base, it helps the table setters. They got some guys in the middle to drive him home, but right now he's been a one-man gang.
Last we saw you, Jose Abreu had not been named an All-Star. He is now the All-Star starter for the American League over at first base, and he tries to get back on track in this series.
He had a tough road trip, and largely because of fouling a ball off his foot a couple of different times, so he didn't have a solid base to hit from, but he loves to hit in this ballpark, hitting .303 here, 69 home runs, 219 driven in, and hopefully he gets on track. It's hot, it's humid at the ballpark. That means this is a great hitter's park, and hopefully Jose busts out of it.
That's the hopes. Sox and Cardinals, game number 1 of 2 on the way in a 5-game homestand with an off day on Thursday. After this, you'll hear from Sox general manager Rick Hahn with an update on a minor leaguer who needs a little bit of surgery. So that is after this.
White Sox baseball is brought to you by your Chicago and Northwest Indiana Hyundai dealers. Test drive a Hyundai today. Xfinity has the largest gig speed network, serving more homes than anyone else. Ford, inviting you to visit your local Ford store or buyfordnow.com. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois. Choose Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, the card to carry through it all. Wintrust, home of Sox checking and debit cards. Open an account today at wintrust.com/Sox. And by your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Audi dealers. Visit AudiOffers.com for exceptional offers on select Audi models.
Back to Guaranteed Rate Field, Sox and Cardinals coming up, and a roster move today for the Sox. Avi Garcia placed on the DL with a hamstring strain Ryan Lamar has joined the Sox off waivers from Minnesota. And down in the minors, Winston-Salem last night in A-ball had 10 doubles, but Micah Adolfo, the 21-year-old outfielder prospect, was not in the lineup. And here's Rick Hahn with an update on Adolfo.
Micah Adolfo, during his throwing program, unfortunately had a setback. He was examined by doctors in Chicago on Monday, yesterday, and it's unambiguous at this point that he does need Tommy John surgery, which he will undergo here in the coming weeks. As a position player, the return to play protocol is obviously quite different than for a pitcher. We're hopeful to have him back in the vicinity of 8 to 10 months, which would have him hopefully with an affiliate, let's say around May 1st of next year.
Well, one of the concerns in spring training was that Adolfo might miss the entire season, so at least he did get some at-bats in the first half.
A lot of injuries this year. Unfortunately, the Sox, who dodged them in the last few years, it all coming back to them this year. And not only the major leagues, but the minor leagues, the guys are dropping, and hopefully he'll be back when Rick Hahn says he should. So it's not like a pitcher. If it was a pitcher, you'd worry about maybe 18 months. Not so the case with an outfielder, but he can hit, and he showed a lot of promise this year.
We'll have a full minor league report coming up in game, but first, the Sox and Cardinals, game number 1 of 2 to open up this homestand. First pitch on the way. Fastest internet and best in-home Wi-Fi experience. Call or visit an Xfinity store today. They're not must-haves yet for the St. Louis Cardinals. They won't be that for at least a month. However, when you're in third place in the division, the two teams ahead of you are playing pretty good baseball, if not great baseball, the Brewers and the Cubs. The Cardinals at 7 games behind need to go on a run somewhere, and the Sox are trying to stand in the way of that for 2 games today and tomorrow.
There's no doubt that St. Louis got off to a very slow start this year. They had their injury problems. Now it seems that most of the guys are getting back together again. And the Cardinals are certainly hoping that with Cincinnati also following up the Sox as they head to the All-Star break, they're able to put something together. And they got a big series coming up with the Cubs in Chicago right after the break, a 5-game series in 4 days. So if they're going to make a move, it should be right about now.
Cardinals starting lineup goes like this. They add the DH with this being a home game for the Sox in interleague play. Carpenter at the top. DeYoung in the 2 spot. Tommy Pham a late scratch from this game. So Martinez, Osuna, Molina, Jerko, Dexter Fowler, who's been under fire recently, Jairo Munoz, and Colton Wong.
Let's take a look at the defense and how they're going to line up behind Dylan Covey. It's Daniel, Charlie, and Liuri left to right in the outfield. Yomer, Tim, Yohan, and Jose in the infield, with Omar Narvaez getting the nod behind the plate and Dylan Covey on the hill. Trying to get that sinker back where he had it early in the season. He's 3-4. His ERA now moved over 5.5. And where that sinker was sinking very well, the velocity was 94-95 on it. Lately, it hasn't been sinking quite as much, and along with the split finger change, That's really the staple of his repertoire, and we'll take a look at it. This is what he throws. The sinker, as you can see, at 64%, with the slider at 17, then the changeup 9%, the curve negligible at just 8%. So he's hoping to throw ground balls early. When he was right, he was leading the American League in percentage of ground balls thrown. He's got to get back to there to be successful, especially with the park the way it is, and because of the heat and humidity, the park will be very lively.
Well, the Sox come off that 2-8 road trip, won a game in Cincinnati and a game in Texas as well, but the 4-game sweep at the hands of the Astros, although in a pair of those games the Sox had a very legitimate late chance to win. A 1-run game in the finale and a 1-run game in the opener, 4-3 and 2-1. So back home, nice to be back home. 5 games before the All-Star break with an off day in between, and try and make a run before the break.
And here's one of the hottest of all the Cardinals, Matt Carpenter.
Down in front.
It felt like he was starting to get untracked when the Sox were in St. Louis the first couple of days of May. He was 2 for 6 in the series, had a home run, couple of big hits in that brief 2-game series, and Carpenter recently has been one of the top sluggers in baseball. Cardinals come in about middle of the pack in batting average, 245. Same deal in on-base percentage and slugging. They're 18th in baseball in those for Mike Matheny, the former catcher. They are last in doubles with 122 of them. All right, for Covey, how does he get back to where he was 5 starts ago?
He's going to keep throwing that sinker and hope that the late movement on it will work very well. Maybe he changes the grip a bit to get a little more sink. And I think one of the keys to the sinker might be getting the feeling of that split change that he has, because you have to stay over the top. And when you learn the release point of the split change, then that sinker will get better and better for you, and that's what he has to establish. We'll see how it's working if they hit ground balls early.
That one runs over the inside corner, clipping the edge for strike 3, 1 down.
And when Dylan was right, that's what he did a whole lot of. You throw it right at the right hip of a left-hand hitter and watch it curve over the plate. In this case, kind of slice over the plate. Now, Carpenter thought that it broke late, but Kerwin Danley thought it was just dandy.
Well, if you're a pitcher, I would assume you like to see the hitter thinking that it broke too late, because that means he wasn't on it.
Absolutely. No, he gave up on it.
A little bit down for ball 1 from Covey to DeYoung, who was slated to bat 8th in this lineup originally. A native of Antioch up north. There's a strike, a little bit higher. Nice adjustment. Ricky Renteria without his pitching coach Don Cooper today. We'll tell you why later on in the telecast. Kurt Hassler in charge of the pitching this evening. Coop expected to be back tomorrow.
There is Kurt, left of Ricky Renteria. He normally is the bullpen coach.
One and two on DeYoung.
Well, so far the velocity is good for Covey, and so is the movement on that sinker.
First time he's ever seen the St. Louis Cardinals. Check swing, he went around, strike 3, back-to-back punch-outs for Covey, and that is a good sign as the Sox offensively today are without Avisail Garcia. He was placed on the DL. It's a grade 1 hamstring strain, better than the first one. Ryan Lamar added to the roster, and here are his thoughts on what his role is for this team.
I'll just show up every day, ready to play, whether it's starting, whether it's coming off the bench, pinch running, playing anywhere on defense. You know, I've played left, right, and center quite a fair share, so, you know, whatever Rick wants, I'll be ready to do.
We've seen Lamar with Minnesota this year. He came up with Cincinnati, spent some time with the Red Sox as well.
Oh, he's a contact hitter, and he's got very good speed, so he can be used to pinch run. He can be used defensively if Ricky Renteria wants, and he said he's going to be ready for anything.
Today, Charlie Tilson's in center field, but Engel and Lamar, two outfielders on the bench, talking it over. No shortage of high black.
Oh, plenty of that.
Two and one from Covey to Jose Martinez.
Martinez has an uppercut swing, and he's a tall guy, so you can throw high fastballs by him. You got to be careful if you throw it knee high, because that really is his sweet spot. There is Willie McGee, one of the instructors on this team, and a wonderful hitter in his day.
He could run the bases.
Yes, he could.
2 strikeouts and a walk, and your 2018 Chicago White Sox are presented by Guaranteed Rate, your home team throughout the season and the official mortgage provider of the Chicago White Sox. Get started today at rate.com.
This St. Louis team doesn't have too many runners. They've only swiped 33 bases all year, and they've been caught 22 times. So they run infrequently, and when they run, they don't run well.
Martinez 0 for 3 in stolen bases over at first. And Ozuna takes a ball.
That was an interesting approach for Martinez at first, because if the ball was thrown, he jumped in the air, which means you can't get a start for anything. You can't get a start going back. You can't get a start going forward. Not the recommended way to approach a pitch.
He did it again.
Yeah, it's the most unusual style of running bases, but probably it's one of the reasons why he's 0 for 3 in stolen bases.
I mean, he's all arms and legs over there too. Watch.
Yep. Yeah, that's not what you're looking for, but okay, it's a style.
If he's wrong, he gets picked off. Right?
Yeah. Pretty much anything you do in the air is not good. Unless, of course, you're a pilot. And then it's, oh, very good.
That's true.
Yeah, staying in the air has a premium then.
Maybe he's got aspirations. 2-1. Second base, Okada for round number 3, and that's it. 2 strikeouts and a ground ball. Good sign for Covey. And the Sox will take their swings against Miles Mikolas after this. Palka, Davidson, Garcia, Narvaez, Anderson, and the former Cardinal Charlie Tilson.
Let's take a look at the defense, and now Mike Matheny's going to put them out there tonight. It's Ozuna, Munoz, and Fowler left to right with Jerko, DeYoung, Wong, and Carpenter in the infield. Yadier Molina gets a nod behind the plate, and Miles Mikolas on the hill, and he will throw a lot of strikes. 12-3 this year. This is 18th start. His ERA a fine 263. Opponent's batting average at 232. That's also very good. Only 17 walks all year long with a whip of 1.03. So he's going to throw a lot of fastballs. The four-seamer at 29%, the sinker at 18%, and then the slider and the curve he uses almost interchangeably. But the thing that's consistent is he is in the zone. He's throwing his fastball for a strike almost 74% of the time. That's #1 among all qualified starters.
He faces Moncada, who's on a 7-game hit streak, but Michaelis, he's at 1.4 walks per 9, and that includes 4 walks in his last start. One of the best strike throwers in baseball.
One of the things that he does have on the appeal to Carlos Torres, he said nope. One of the things he has is the ability to throw everything for strikes, and that's good. Plus, he just can move it up, down, in, and out. He's got a good command of the zone.
He's an all-star this year after not pitching in the major leagues since 2014. He spent 3 years in Japan honing his pitching ability and has just been dynamic as he feeds strike 2. And you look at walks per 9, he is #1 in the National League, #3 in baseball.
He also has 98 in his back pocket. He just doesn't show it to you all that often, but he's capable of throwing it upwards of 98 miles an hour.
Breaking ball low and in for strike 3 on Moncada, and 1 down.
This is a snapping slider, and that thing didn't break till late. If you haven't seen it, and of course Yohan hasn't seen it, it's pretty dynamic. So if he tries to get ahead with the fastball, which he does, you better hit one of those first fastballs, because the curve and slider are both wipeout pitches.
1 out for Sanchez. This Cardinals rotation, especially the top guys in it, are keeping this team afloat at 3.75 as a group ERA. That's 9th in baseball, and part of the reason the Cardinals are at all over 500 at 46 and 43.
This is a team that as soon as they start getting things together, they got somebody hurt. It hasn't been a usual year for the Cardinals. Mike Maddox, one of the finest pitching coaches around. He's been around a few different stops, and he's made every staff he's been with a bit better.
They've had some trouble in the bullpen, although Bud Norris has been very effective.
He's been really good.
One and two. Oh, that curveball was close enough that Sanchez had to offer, and back-to-back strikeouts for Michaelis.
He pitched in the big leagues a couple of times with San Diego and with Texas, but never really established himself until this year. That's an overhand hook, and we told you, hit that fastball early, because between the hook and the slider, you're not going to make much contact.
Yeah, 2 strikes is no fun.
No, he's got very good rotation on the curveball especially, and the slider, you couldn't read it out of his hand.
Here's Jose, whose month of June was maybe his worst month of his major league career. He still put up some numbers, but the average right around 260 with the 12 homers and still at 27 doubles. But with all that, he is an all-star starter for the first time, and congratulations to a model citizen in the clubhouse and then some, Jose Abreu. Come see your Sox take on the Kansas City Royals Friday, July 13th, 7:10 p.m. and stay for a post-game fireworks show presented by Village of Bedford Park. Bring your business home. Easy for me to say, with Village of Bedford Park, and win big.
Bring anything home, whatever you got, bring it home.
WhiteSox.com, 866 Sox game. Bring your business. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Jose. "29 years old, Miles Michaelis."
he's doing something you really don't see a whole lot of, and that is trying to resurrect his career. He went to Japan. He got his starts. In fact, that's all he did in Japan was start games. That was a radical departure for what happened in this country. He only had one shot, and that was at Round Rock, of actually starting some games before he got to Texas. He started 10 of those.
Right side, Colton Wong is very good defensively, and there you see it on display. Well done by one of the best second basemen in baseball to make it a 1-2-3 inning for Michaelis.
Go-tos, double deals made for go-getters.
And the second inning starts with the longtime catcher for the St. Louis Cardinals, Yadier Molina. Only a Cardinal, always a Cardinal. 2004 to 2018, more than 1,800 games in St. Louis colors.
And he's going to the All-Star game again. Buster Posey is going to be injured, they figure.
It's like a timed tweet where you set the timer and then it sends out while you're still sleeping.
Well,
Posey's expecting to be hurt.
Well, he has been playing, but apparently he will have his hip injected right before the break.
I don't have nearly the problem with that as some people may, based on what it sounds. Covey with strike three for the third time, and one away.
And here are the umpires for the game tonight. Kerwin Danley has a plate, Paul Nauert at first, Scott Berry at second, and Carlos Torres has third base.
The reason I say that, Posey, he's got to recover at some point, and if he's been banking on the All-Star break to be his recovery time, you can play the last couple regular season games and not feel badly about not going to the All-Star game. In my, maybe not in this moment, so humble opinion.
No, but I mean, he has been to a few, and I know Yadier Molina very happy to go to another one.
This will be his 9th All-Star game.
That's pretty impressive.
8 Gold Gloves. That was a strike.
That one had the whole plate, and that was above the knee. Jerko can hit a fastball, no doubt about that, but anything else, he has some problems. Inside fastball this time.
A little too far inside, 2-1. Four multi-hit games already on this road trip for Jed Jerko. the Sox saw in very sparing playing time back in St. Louis.
Well, now odds are he's going to get his fastball. He's seen a couple of them, but Dillon couldn't throw it in the zone. He's got good movement tonight on that sinker and good movement on the two-seam fastball.
That was upstairs, and Jerko helped him out. Tim Anderson for out number 2. It is Illini night at the ballpark, and our pal Kendall Gill throwing out the first pitch. No, Gene Honda's fired up about Illini night.
He is really psyched up. I've never seen Gene this excited.
Is it a tie? Kendall, by the way, not a great first pitch.
No.
But a tremendous athlete.
But the hitter swung at it, so it is a strike.
And that's all that matters. Strike 1 to Dexter Fowler. By the way, Kevin Anderson, U of I alumnus, is at the 2018 Wimbledon, and he's going to take on Roger Federer in the quarters. The big Illini news.
That's usually the end of the tournament for you.
Yeah.
Because Federer has made no concession to the aging process. He's still playing great tennis.
Even if you're not a tennis fan, watching him is a magical thing.
Cardinals would like to get Dexter Fowler back on track because he has not been this year. Coming in, it's 167. And they would like to see a little more intense play from him.
Upstairs for strike 3. Kobe cuts him down, and 4 strikeouts for Dillon in the first 6 outs tonight.
Up-to-date stats and information sponsored by UI Health. It's providing expert care for you and your family. UI Health, changing medicine for good. Learn more at uihealth.care.
How about that harmony? Young ones enjoying both teams.
It's the best way to do it. Just be a baseball fan. If you're a baseball fan, the game perpetuates itself, and start early.
That was ball 1, but you can see the precipitous drop on the breaking ball from Michaelis.
Yeah, that was a really good curveball. You just hate to waste it on strike 1 if you're not throwing it in the zone. You should really have 2 curveballs that wipe out, and then 1 you throw over the plate like that. 78, keep it upstairs. Hitters will not swing at anything breaking early in the count, not when they're ahead.
Upstairs to get a foul ball. 1 and 2 on Polka, whose last 4 hits have been home runs.
He's most likely going to have to see a high fastball here. We'll look into Yachty and see what he wants. There is a high fastball, I believe.
Indeed. 2-2.
Little out of the zone, however.
Well, we have a special treat for you coming up. Top 3, AJ Pierzynski will be here to tell you about a new AJ bobblehead doll. That's out. Right there for strike 3.
He gets outguessed and gets a fastball right down the middle.
Michael has just pumped it right in there.
The first time they're taking a look at him, and your first time around, it's very difficult. You don't know. You can look at the break on video, but you don't know how it really affects you until you get up there.
Here's Matt to take strike 1.
He's really pitching comfortably at 94, no effort whatsoever. He's got another 4 miles an hour if he chooses to use it. Here's another fastball.
That called a ball?
Well,
I mean, that was. Well, they got the appeal for a strike.
You really don't have to appeal a pitch that's right down the middle. I mean, literally right down the middle, waist high.
That would have been, somebody would have written about that being the worst called ball in baseball. We had it a couple years ago, remember?
Yep.
We had the worst called ball of the first half of the season, and we almost had 2018's version, I think.
Yeah, that one had a good portion of the plate, as you can see by number 2 on your pitch cast.
Sometimes the swing will cause a focus issue. That one was close too. Well, if there's anybody on this Cardinal staff that knows the strike zone, it's Michaelis. And if there's anybody on this Sox offensive side that knows the strike zone, it's Matt Davidson.
That one almost got a piece of Nick Capra. That was a curveball, and Matt hit the daylights out of it, but yanked it foul, and Nick was able to get out of the way.
Hope you enjoyed your serene off day, Nick. Back to the grind.
The helmet almost came into play. Fortunately, he doesn't favor his left.
Breaking ball for strike 3. 4th punch out from Michaelis. He was determined to get that strikeout. Head to the park Sunday, July 15th. Sox and the Royals, 1:10 p.m. All kids 13 and under take home a play ball pitch grip baseball to teach you how to properly throw the most common major league pitches. To get your tickets, visit whitesox.com today. And parents, don't worry, there's no splitter grip on there.
Oh, we saw the ball. The ball is kind of nice. It shows you where to put your fingers for each and every one of those pitches.
And for the cotton candy pitch, put your fingers in your mouth. Strike 1 to Garcia. Javi Garcia on the DL, so Leury Garcia playing right field tonight. Look for strike 2.
That is a very good hook. So if you don't hit the first ball fastball, you're going to have some problems with the curveball coming next. And here's the high fastball.
Tailed away, 1-2. Four strikeouts, 1 ground out for Michaelis so far.
It was a slider that stayed right in the middle of the plate. Leury fouled it straight back.
Curveball for strike 3, and Michaelis with 5 punch outs. Coming up next, AJ Pierzynski will join us. AJ Pierzynski and his hair.
That's
Yes.
right.
Bobblehead doll.
This is really good.
Hi, AJ. How you doing?
Hi. Hey, buddy. How are you?
And you come with your own background.
That's right. That's right.
That's really
And
good.
They can put it in the front ground too.
All right, so that's for White Sox charities. People can get that online on whitesox.com/AJ Bobble, and you're doing it for Make-A-Wish, Illinois, right?
Absolutely. White Sox approached me, 10-year anniversary of the blackout game. You guys, I think, both remember that one game we played. And they, at the time, there's a kind of a famous picture of me standing there with the crowd with the white hair. And they wanted to, we went through some different ideas, and it was something different. So we came up with that. And it's definitely for Make-A-Wish, Illinois. When I was here for the White Sox, I don't know how many wishes we granted, not only myself, but the White Sox, and some that I think is a great organization. So we're donating all the proceeds to Make-A-Wish, Illinois.
What people need to know is the hair on there is real.
That's
too.
right, they clipped it. I actually thought about going blonde just for this game when they announced it. That way, but then I figured my hair might fall out.
What compelled you to go blonde then? I've always wondered that. Like
People
what-
always ask me that, and Jim Tomey made a bet with me. And he bet me an amount of money and said, will this do it? And I said, no. He said, will this do it? And I said, no. And then after about 4 tries, I'm like, that'll do it. And so we went, and he wrote me he stroked me a nice check the next day, and I had to go back like 3 times the first time to get the coloring right there.
On the ground, second base, Moncada for route number 2. You mentioned Jim Tomey. He's the reason you're not still playing in that game.
Thank goodness, because he's the only guy that could hit in that game for both teams. So, I mean, this ball still might be going where it landed. It landed up over the bushes up there. I don't know what they call that nowadays, but we just know it was really far. But you can see the white hair. One of the greatest single game experiences I've ever been a part of, just because of the crowd, the atmosphere, the way everything was going, and the blackout. I mean, people just don't know how cool that is.
What was it like that night?
The best atmosphere I've ever been in for a regular season game. Because it was one game and it's not planned. It wasn't like a series that's going for, you have all this time to kind of get excited for it. Like the World Series, we had a week off before, so people were excited. This kind of came out of nowhere. We had to win like, what, 3 games, Stoney, against 3 different teams?
3 games against 3 different teams in this ballpark. And how good was Johnny Danks that night?
Oh, that might be the best game he ever pitched.
Yeah, I think it was.
If you ask him, it was amazing. He had struggled against the Twins, go out, throw a shutout. Griffey had that great throw that was like a 12 hopper, killed like 8 worms on the way in. Got me run over by Kadire, but it was just a great game, great atmosphere. Both teams were into it. At the time, it was a huge rivalry, Twins, White Sox, and to come out on the end, the winning end, was just amazing. I mean, I can't explain one game. I won one of these, and this was it. And then I lost one a couple years later, and it was terrible. So to win this game was just what it's about.
Well, you guys had to beat Cleveland the final game of the series. Then you had to beat Detroit. And then if you beat Cleveland and Detroit, then you had to beat the Twins. And I'm not sure that one team has ever played 3 teams in a row on 3 successive days to make the playoffs, but you guys were able to do it.
And then the next year we opened with Kansas City and beat them. So we beat 4 different teams in 4 different games. So it was pretty amazing. Just we had to win all those games too. People forget we had to win them all, and we won them all. And the Freddie Garcia pitched the game against Detroit, and luckily for us, his neck got sore.
Into right field, a base hit for Carpenter. DeYoung coming up. All right, so Kadire's like 3 steps away from you. What's in your mind as a catcher as that's happening?
Just catch the ball. Catch the ball. I was like, okay, not a very far fly ball. Griffey's in shallow second base.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just don't hit the mound and then just catch the ball. And then I kind of showed it to him, and Cuddy was a buddy of mine, so he wasn't real happy with me. We talked afterwards, and it was a clean play. But probably Griffey's greatest moment as a White Sox.
Yeah, it really was. Yeah. I mean, he doesn't make that throw quite obviously. Maybe the history of that particular year has to be rewritten.
I love that you went to Kadire with the ball first, even before the umpire.
Well, I was just so excited. It's so hard. You guys both know I played with a lot of emotion. And I was just so excited because it was a clean play, and he got me good, and I was just so happy that we got the out. And I remember Dan Gladden, who you guys both know, the player for the Twins, and now he's the radio guy for the Twins, texted me and called me after the game and goes, hey, man, I know we lost, but I just wanted to say it was kind of cool what happened with you and Kadire, because I know it was
kind of, some people won't like it, but he goes, Cuddy was good with it, I'm good with it. And it meant a lot to hear that. I'm just happy that short hop, I just barely clipped the short hop.
Well, that's amazing because that ball then hit the dirt from the grass, so it was coming with spin, and yet you were able not only to catch it, but secure it as he hit you, because he hit the arm right in the middle of your arm.
Yeah, I was sore the next day. I'm glad we had a couple days off before we went into the series against Tampa Bay, because I was pretty sore because he clipped my left shoulder, and sometimes you get caught. And I remember after the game, I was like, oh man, I might take a day or two. So fortunately, we had a couple days off, and Hermie and B-Ball down there went to work and got me good for that short series that we had.
You chose Make-A-Wish as part of this for the bobblehead. You want to share why you picked that?
Well, like I said, I love, first of all, I want to say this before I get to that. A lady named Carol Vaughn, who's a very good friend of mine, who you guys know, Dana Noel, Nike. Yep. She passed away recently, and her biggest thing was help kids, make people make their day. And so it was right before they came to me and said, hey, we want to do a charity. So the first thing that popped in my head was, I don't know.
Base hit to center, and Carpenter is going to score. The Cardinals are on the board first. You were saying?
So my biggest thing was when I was here, the White Sox would come to me all the time and say, hey, we have a kid that is a Make-A-Wish kid. Are you willing to do it? And it's always yes. These kids are going through a lot, so they would always come to me. And I don't know how many we did when I was here with the White Sox. We used to do them at least once a homestand. This kid would come in and say, you know, all he wants to do is meet the players or watch batting practice or come on the field and say hi and get autographs, come in the clubhouse. And it was always like, absolutely, let's do it, let's do it, let's do it. And I mean, like I said, we were doing them, and it was just such a good organization. Not enough people, because of what the kids are going through is so hard. So to be able to help them and then to raise money for them, and more importantly, just the awareness of the whole project that they have going and everything that they do for so many people.
So 2 on, 2 out. This inning sort of come out of nowhere.
I was hoping a quick inning, and then all of a sudden all these hits came. I blame Stoney.
You were hoping for a quick inning? You want
well, it
was
like a 6-pitch inning with 2 outs, and I'm like, all right.
Well, you're supposed to be able to shut the door. That's the thing. I could never get out of an inning, but you're supposed to shut the door, and look what happened. 3 straight hits and a run.
I know. I blame you, Stoney. That's all I can say.
What question do you get most from Sox fans? And what question do you like most?
Which question I get most is about either Michael Barrett or about the drop third strike.
Yeah.
And then the question I liked the most was, do you enjoy coming back here? That's probably because the answer is yes.
Yeah.
As an ex-Sox player and then coming back playing as a visitor was weird. But now that I'm done playing, it's just great to see everybody. I mean, the people in the clubhouse, the security people, just the people in the parking lot, like things like those are the people that meant a lot to me. Along with the ex-players and all, that's just a given. But it's all the people that people don't get to see that meant the most to me, and that I'm the happiest usually to see those guys.
What was so special about the 2005 team?
We had it, and I can't explain it. Like, we just knew we were going to win. There was no rhyme or reason for it. We weren't the best team, I don't think. We weren't the most talented team. I mean, I think people would say maybe the Angels that year, they had Guerrero and Colon, and the Yankees were good that year. The Red Sox were just won the World Series. You know, the Cardinals who lost to the Astros. So there was a lot of really talented teams. I just think we had the it factor. Like, we knew when we took the field we were going to win. And it didn't matter if it was Besednik hitting a home run or Joe Creedy making a diving play or Willie Harris getting a big hit. It was just, we knew we were going to win. And that's something that you can't fake. And our team just didn't fake it. We believed in each other. And I know people say, oh, it's so easy to say when you win, but we truly did.
Into right field, and this is going to get down for another hit. Cardinals with 4 straight hits. How many of those guys do you still talk to?
Konerko, Burley, Rowan, Creedy.
Yep.
Coop is here, obviously. Jermaine.
So there's a good group of you.
A whole bunch of them. The ones that I still can talk to. I recently saw Carl Everett at a golf tournament at Bay Hill.
You did?
He was walking. I was doing stuff for PGA Tour Live, walking down the fairway following Tiger. I looked to my right, and I'm like, man, that looks like the guy who used to be Carl Everett. He had a big old cigar in his mouth, and I'm like, Carl! And we walked for like 2 holes together.
How's he doing?
He's doing good. He looks good. He's asking about his kids who were always around. There's one kid that was like 12 years old and was 3 times the size of me. We called him Lil Carl, but I'm like, he's the biggest little Carl at 12 years old I've ever seen. But he's doing very well. He's doing well.
How's Paulie taking retirement?
Well, Paulie's coaching, he's coaching his son, which is the greatest thing. I would love to be at a game. Him and J.J. Putz are coaching together. So I'd love to see Paulie sit on the bench and analyze an 11-year-old baseball game.
Throw to second, and he's back.
That was a bad slide, by the way.
A real bad slide.
That's why I never slid head first, because I wasn't going fast enough and I would stick like that.
I thought he wasn't going to get there.
No, I think if he's been caught up playing second, if he gets a little better tag or better throw.
Yeah, it looked a little like a lawn dart for a second.
When you get the chin into the dirt, it's not a great look.
Who did that? The guy in Toronto did that this year. The scorpion where his legs are over his head.
Uh-huh. We had one here last year, too. Mike Napoli did it here a couple of years ago. So this bobblehead doll, whitesox.com/AJBobble, $35, proceeds to White Sox charities, Make-A-Wish, Illinois. Do you have like 30 of them that you got for yourself?
I got one today.
You did?
About 4 o'clock, they handed the first one to me.
Nice.
So
you like it?
I do. My son was complaining that the hair wasn't just right.
What color?
No, the color, just the texture of it.
Too soft?
No, he said it didn't feel the same, because they remember when I had my kids used to call it squishy hair, so they remember when I had the squishy hair.
Well, look, you joined an elite group. Paul Konerko, Jose Abreu, Bo Jackson, Tim Raines. Those are all the past bobbleheads. Now you join the pantheon of bobbleheads.
I saw Bo at the draft this year when I went to represent the White Sox. Had a nice chat with him. He was mad being an Auburn guy. Kansas City had to announce 2 Florida Gators as their first 2 picks, so Bo was letting me have it a little bit, but good picks.
Did you say earlier you went back multiple times to get the color of the hair right?
I did, because the first time I did it, the lady who did it didn't even know exactly what I wanted, because I wanted it not yellow. I wanted it more like the white color.
Yeah.
And so the first time she did it, we were playing Texas, I believe, and I took my helmet off, and Michael Young was like, "What happened to your hair?" And I was like, "Oh, it's a bet with Tommy." He's like, "You got to at least make it a little different color," because it was like chick color.
Into right center field it goes, and Garcia's there for out number 3. AJ, great to see you.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for
stopping by.
Nice to see you.
Thank you.
One more look at your joining of the Ken Griffey Bowling League. Nicely done.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Go
Nate
Sox.
Hopper, AJ Pierzynski. You can get the bobblehead doll, whitesox.com/AJBobble. Go get yourself one right now.
Text Subway to 97999, and the 300th texters going to win a $30 gift card. Subway, so much sandwich.
So much sandwich. Lots of sandwich. Good to chat with AJ. That bobblehead is great, actually. We have one on the prize shelf today. It was
very
donated,
nice.
donated to us.
If you're smart enough, quick enough, and accurate enough, you can win the AJ bobblehead.
The tweets are actually coming in, including Mark, who says, just got my AJ bobblehead. So during the break, Mark Schwartz logged on and got himself a White Sox AJ Pierzynski bobblehead doll. WhiteSox.com/AJ Bobble. And in the past, the campaign has raised $350,000 or so for the last 4 of them, as Omar has yet another hit.
Omar's been the hottest catcher in baseball since around June 1st, and he keeps hitting the baseball, finding a nice spot for it to land, and he breaks up the perfect game.
I mean, the numbers are actually bordering on insane.
They're starting to get startling.
He's hit 400 coming into the game since June the 1st.
It's really amazing. I mean, the start he got off to, and now he's hitting everything in sight.
Michaelis throws a strike to Anderson. We showed you in our open. 30 home runs, 36 stolen bases since the beginning of last year for Tim Anderson. He's one of 7 guys in that 30-30 club. Anderson in the air, left center field toward the alley, and Tim bangs it off the wall. Omar's into third, Anderson to second.
Well, seemingly you get that first hit, and then you can get that second hit, as Tim thinks he's got it. He thought this is leaving the ballpark. However, he's got Narvaez in front of him, so he's not going to get over a 2-base hit.
Then you see the 30-30 since 2017. Anderson and Pham both on rosters in this game. Tommy Pham a late scratch with an apparent ankle injury. Jose Altuve part of that group. But Tim Anderson's numbers are growing and his defense is improved.
I think defensively he's played very well over the last 3 weeks, certainly.
It's Charlie Tilson. For strike 1.
Mike Matheny has a choice here, and that is just play him in at the corners and then make sure that Narvaez doesn't score, or play him halfway in the middle infield. Right now he's got him back in the middle. But on a hard hit ball, it's going to be tough for Omar to score because he doesn't have big speed.
Charlie shows bunt, and Molina got tagged with that one.
One of the things that catchers really dislike is guys who can't bunt, because if they don't bunt very well, there's a real good chance that the ball's going to come back and hit them, and that got Yadier Molina on the left wrist.
Well, Molina, who had a garish pelvic injury earlier this year, doesn't need any more DL time.
No, and the Cardinals don't need him to go on the shelf.
Omar at third, Tim at second.
Tried to go backdoor on the breaking ball, but could not shave off the outside corner. Michaelis has 1 wild pitch this year, and Yadier normally is as good as they get at blocking low pitches. Although we did see pitcher 2 get by him in St. Louis, which was a rarity.
This is age 35 season for Yadier Molina. Charlie's been a good contact hitter with the Sox, and he stays alive at 1-2. St. Louis, while we were chatting with AJ Pierzynski, 4 straight hits leading to 2 runs in the top of the third.
A chance to come right back, and Charlie who started his career with the Cardinal organization, would like to get back at him.
That's through, base hit. Omar's home, Anderson's coming. Fowler will not make the throw to the plate, and the Sox have tied the game. Charlie Tilson, a 2-run single.
That's 10 driven in for Charlie, and he does indeed come up with a big hit against his former club. Dexter Fowler doesn't have even close to a right fielder's arm, and so when this one gets through, there is no chance that Tim Anderson was not going to score on the play. Past the diving Carpenter, does a nice job, but the ball actually hops over the glove, and Fowler gets to it, but he does not have the right fielder's arm.
79th overall back in 2011 by the Cardinals. Charlie Tilson, heard his name called out of New Trier, and a couple of years ago traded to the Sox for left-hander Zach Duke, who seems to be on everyone's list every year when he's healthy at the trade deadline.
Situational left-hander with a good breaking ball that he throws from the side, and now that he is throwing low 3/4, sometimes actually submarine, you have a lot more interest from the guys who were looking for that situational lefty. Charlie with a couple of stolen bases in 5 attempts. Sox as a team 70 stolen bases, been caught just 21 times.
A total of 70 is just 3 behind Milwaukee for the MLB lead starting play tonight.
You weren't thinking about laying one down. That ball out of the zone.
Now, in baseball, the sacrifice bunt is decreasing in frequency, and with that, bunt hits seem to decline as well. As you see, Moncada is very likely to hit the ball either up the middle or to the right side, batting left-handed. But just because sacrifice bunts aren't being used nearly as much doesn't mean the bunt hit isn't useful.
No, bunting for a hit and the ability to do that will take any hitter's batting average and take it up a good 20 points if he's good at it. But that's a big if, because not many people are good at it these days.
Off the plate, 3-0. So Michaelis, one of the best guys at finding the strike zone in baseball, at a 3-0 count with Moncada, with his penchant for throwing fastballs down the middle.
Yeah, I'd give him the 3-0 green light for sure. We'll see if Ricky Renteria thinks along the same lines.
He thought it was ball 4.
Well, he took a little something off. Now that was a fastball, but he's been pitching consistently at 94. This was 91. So even though he got his fastball, he got a whole lot taken off it and thought that it was indeed ball 4, but it had part of the plate.
3 balls, 1 strike. Fouled away, 3-2.
I think right now we're going to see Charlie running. So Yuan needs a little contact because Molina usually very good at the strike him out, throw him out double play.
There goes Charlie. 3-2 is popped up. Jerko at third. With 1 out, we remind you that new Bleachers and Brews dates have been announced. Get 1 bleacher seat and 2 beers for just $22. You got to be 21 and over with a valid ID. Bleachers and Brews presented by Budweiser. To get your tickets, go to whitesox.com/brews. Heck, do it right now. And then go to whitesox.com/AJBobble. Get your bobblehead doll. And then go to the Craft Cave. Make a night of it.
And then have somebody punch you in the arm so it's really Bleachers and Brews.
Sanchez. The fact that we've had the restraint from making that joke for weeks is impressive as Tilson goes to second base. The wild one.
I didn't want to make that on the road. So that one in the dirt, the second wild pitch of the year for Michaelis. And Yadi decided to backhand it, which is not usually a good thing, because when you backhand it, it usually pops in the air, gets away from you, and it did this time.
It's an 8-time Gold Glover, Yadier Molina. Sanchez in the air, left field. Marcell Ozuna.
Ozuna won a Gold Glove in left field, but these days he can't really throw. So any chance that Nick Capra has anything hit the left field, he's going to challenge the arm of Ozuna, who is barely getting it back into the infield.
And honestly, you mentioned Fowler's arm in right, and Munoz in center is an infielder.
Yeah, so, I mean, this is an outfield that gives you a whole lot as far as throwing out would-be runners trying to score or take the extra base. You can afford to be very aggressive on this Cardinal outfield.
Jose to shortstop and DeYoung. Sox get him right back, though. Charlie Tilson, a 2-run single, and Southpaw's a little happier than before. His hair.
We have AJ's hair certainly, and right behind him, the Hawk Solo bobblehead. They usually travel in pairs. Now you can get them individually.
Also, the gnome is there, the pitch grip baseball, some Altoids for you that Steve will sign.
Pitch grip baseball is pretty good because you can learn how to hold any pitch, except for some of the ones you can't learn, like the splitter.
This one ripped to left field toward the corner, and that is a fair ball down the line for Jed Jerko. It's a leadoff double for St. Louis, so the offense has been unshackled in this game.
We'll take another look. That's a fastball, and that's what Jerko can hit. He's got some problems with off-speed pitches, a changeup, the slider, the curveball, but fastballs. He came in hitting 260. He's 1 for 2 tonight, and taking this one down the line. It rattles around, but 2 bases is all he's going to get.
That is the first extra base hit for the Cardinals tonight after 4 straight singles in the 3rd. Loop to left field and a hit. Polka is in on it, but Jerko missed an opportunity maybe to come home.
Well, it was a terrible piece of base running, and the simple reason is he had no idea where Polka was. If he realized where Polka's set up and he looked at the shortstop Tim Anderson, he would have realized that there was no chance for anybody to get this. So Anderson's playing up the middle, Polka's playing back, and this is a little looper to left field. So for the time being, the Cardinals don't score.
And Jerko knew off the bat that it was a hit.
Well, we'll take it at this point.
Here's Munoz. As a throw to first on Fowler, who came in with a 541 OPS, a WAR of -1.2. And the Cardinals would love to see some upward mobility from Dexter Fowler. Foul of third, strike one to Munoz, who grounded out to third in the third. When you look at Fowler's numbers from last season compared to this season, the batting average is down 100 points, the on-base percentage down 90 points. The slugging percentage is where the tumble has really hit the Cardinals, because he was at 488 last year, 271 this season.
No rhyme, no reason to why that happens, because he had some very good years on the north side of town.
Fowler at first, Jerko at third, and Dylan Covey trying to replicate what we saw in the first 9 batters. Just one base runner on 1 walk and 4 strikeouts. But since then, the Cardinals have made a lot of contact. Oh, Munoz did it to himself again. This time he's dropped by his own foul ball, and it's 0-2.
They're going to come out and have a look, and I don't care when you do it, whether it's cold, whether it's warm. But that is going to take some time. This is right off the same spot that Jose Abreu hit a couple of different times, and he doesn't have the shin guard to guard against it.
Now he's going to stay, but he doesn't look like he's feeling great. There's Abreu, who's just coming out of the doldrums that may or may not have caused. Major League rookie Jairo Munoz, 23-year-old out of the Dominican Republic. Two strikes from Covey. Jerko at third, Fowler at first. Cardinals threatening to retake the lead that they just lost.
Fowler last year hit the most home runs he's hit in the major leagues. It was the first year of a 5-year contract with St. Louis. So he might have been thinking about the power numbers, and usually when a non-power hitter has a big power year, the batting average goes down, as that's what Dexter Fowler has found out this year.
Tim has to go deep for it, gets one, the turn, safe. Cardinals get a run, Sox get an out, and it's 3-2.
20th run driven in by Jairo Munoz. He had enough speed, even with the foul ball off his ankle, to beat out the play and get the run batted in. Slow developing play, it's a high chopper, and no chance at all on the back end.
So here is Colton Wong, who made a really nice play early in this game on a ground ball at second base. Got a throw to first. Colton Wong leads the major leagues in defensive runs saved by second basemen. He's at 12 as it stands opening play today. 12 defensive runs saved. Second place is Ian Kinsler with 8 for the Angels. Lined up the alley in right center field. Munoz to third. He gets waved around. Throw coming to the plate. They got a shot at him. He is toast at the plate. That was gutsy and too gutsy.
Wong hit the ball hard. Leary slid into trying to make the play, and then he hit Tim Anderson perfectly, which is what you want to do. So sliding in, he corrals the baseball, and then Tim Anderson right there makes a good solid throw. And the good thing about this is the hop is on the grass. He's tagged out. And a good play, good relay, and good throw by Anderson. And the throw is far enough away from Narvaez so that he could catch it, put it away, and make the tag.
Got him on the leg.
Yes, he did.
Now Carpenter. Boy, that is a big play in this game. If you don't send him, it's second and third, 1 out, and your best hitter's at the plate.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised. That ball, the ball didn't get through, and they took a gamble. Longtime third base coach Jose Akendo. He's been around a long time and decided he would take a shot, and it cost him.
One ball, one strike on Carpenter. There is Jose Akendo, former infielder.
And long-time coach.
It's 1-1 from Dillon. Nice pitch down and in, 1-2. You know, situationally there, you have 7 hits in your last 9 batters in the game. And the Sox certainly will say thank you for that out. One, two. Launch to left and foul. Here's your Sox math question, brought to you by your local Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Audi dealers. Visit AudiOffers.com for exceptional deals. Games in the series multiplied by games before the break, including tonight, minus the years Minnie Minoso played for the Cardinals, and then add his age during his final major league at bat. That's your question. Hashtag SoxMath on Twitter. Covey tried to swing it back and didn't get the call.
Pretty good pitch, and that is the exact same pitch. He rung him up in the first inning, but this one did not come back quite enough. Kurt Hassler, acting pitching coach tonight.
There's strike 3. Off speed away to Carpenter. Covey gets out of the 4th inning. Bottom 4 next. Sox are down 1.
WGNTV.com, presented by Nationwide's Jeff Vukovich. Go to jeffvuk.com or follow him on social media because...
Is he on my side?
No, Nationwide's on your side.
Oh, isn't Jeff?
Occasionally. He would be a large man on your side.
Big dude.
Yes, he is.
Michaelis to Polka for strike one. Miles Michaelis signed with the Cardinals, and what's really magical about his season, not only that he spent 3 years in Japan and reinvented himself as a Major League Baseball player to become an all-star. That's enough of a story in itself, but he actually has a pretty large amount of extended family that lives in the St. Louis area and is a bundle of Cardinal fans. So, you know, he signs thinking maybe AAA, maybe Major League Baseball. The hope is you make the team. And now his family gets to come to games and wear Michaelis jerseys, and it's exactly as they had dreamed.
And seeing him putting together a wonderful first half of the season.
There's a story in the Post-Dispatch from earlier this year about his aunt, who was a teacher at a local school, and his aunt was in the middle of class, and one of the students said to the teacher, your phone keeps ringing. It was in the pocket of her jacket or something like that. Phone keeps ringing. Well, yeah, but we're going to keep going with class because that's not the job of the teacher to pick up the phone in the middle of class. So she checks the phone eventually, and it's that her nephew had joined her favorite team. How about that?
You can't beat that after 3 pretty solid seasons, by the way, in Japan. 13-3 in 2015, 14-8 last year. ERA of 2.25 last year.
He's got strikeout number 6. Not to comparison shop too much because this guy is a star. But Michaelis is an all-star. You look at Michaelis versus Ohtani in Japan for their career. Michaelis actually had a better earned run average than Shohei Ohtani.
He did that. But can he hit like Ohtani? Who, by the way, is going to have to hit now because that elbow is wearing out a touch, and I don't think they're going to let him pitch the rest of the way this year.
Well, there's no reason you would burn him as a pitcher and a hitter. If you let him pitch, you could lose both.
Yeah. No, I don't think they're going to do that.
Michaelis, by the way, at the plate is 2 for 33 in his career.
Yeah, no Ohtani.
No Ohtani?
No Ohtani.
Davidson toward the gap, and Fowler makes the catch. There's out number 2. Here's your Sox math answer. 2 games in the series, 5 before the All-Star break. That's 10. That's easy. 1 year, Manny Minoso played for the Cardinals. That was back in 1962 under Johnny Keane. And then 54 years old during his final major league at bat. He was activated for a couple of at bats in 1980. And the Schnog is the winner.
How about that?
The Schnogberries taste like Schnogberries.
Nah.
You've never seen Willy Wonka?
I missed it.
You've never seen Willy Wonka and the
No.
Chocolate Factory?
I'd like the Chocolate Factory, but wasn't too high on Willy Wonka.
Wow. Right side, Colton Wong snaps up another. We'll go to the 5th inning. If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it at the ballpark. 3-2 Cardinals. Abreu voted in as the first baseman to start the All-Star game coming up next week, Tuesday. And you take a look at White Sox starters in history for the All-Star game. 4 pitchers, starting with Billy Pierce all the way down to Sale. 4 first basemen as well. And Frank Thomas, the last guy voted in to start back in 1996.
That's really quite an honor to have the fans vote you in, and Jose was very happy. This will be his second All-Star game, but the first time he was voted in.
And for Jose, sort of a bittersweet moment, because he obviously loves representing the Sox at the All-Star game and wants to be a part of it, but he'd also like to break out of, as Anderson has a bobble for the first time in recent memory on a ball to him from DeYoung. So a leadoff error.
He started to come up with it cleanly, and then on the transfer it just dropped out of the glove. So it is E6. Just about the time you think everything is under control, the game jumps up and bites you.
Baseball has a wry sense of humor.
You just have to keep 100% concentration every bit of the time and assume the ball is going to come to you, and then envision what you're going to do with it.
Ball 1 to Martinez.
Last time up he got a low pitch, which is something he was looking for, and drove home a run with a base hit.
He is one of the most recognizable players in baseball, just with that broad stroke of a batting stance.
The catchers have to be careful because it's such a big stroke that occasionally he comes back and he'll get you on the backswing. And that, regardless of where you're hit, does not feel real good.
A.J. Pierzynski was here visiting at the time, but Martinez came into this game with runners in scoring position and 2 out, with the best batting average in baseball. He was hitting .500 runners in scoring position and 2 out, and he had yet another hit in that situation in the 3rd.
Same thing with Ozuna, who came up next.
With the nickname Cafe and his angsty, sort of jittery stance, the phrase "he makes coffee nervous" fits perfectly.
Perpetual motion machine as he approaches a pitch.
Ball smashed to center field and a base hit. 3 times on base for Martinez. Sox fans, join us for Country Music Night as the Sox take on the Blue Jays Friday, July 27th, 7:10 p.m. And you stay after the game for a post-game fireworks show presented by Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling. To get your tickets, visit whitesox.com. A lovely night at the ballpark. Beautiful sunset. Clouds doubling as mountains in the backdrop.
A little warm today, but gorgeous right now.
One of those days where walking around Chicago is one of the most beautiful things you can do in our country. Ball 1 to Ozuna. Well, you said it. There's that big series with the Cubs after the All-Star break for the Cardinals. So if they can make a little bit of headway before the break and size up that series right out of the All-Star game, they can trumpet themselves again as contenders in the Central. As Tilson fades into right center, and DeYoung will challenge him with the movement toward the gap. He's into 3rd, runners at the corners.
Now you get one of the best clutch hitters around in Yadi Molina, who, as his career moved along, he mastered the technique of going to right and right center field with situations just like this. He knows to be effective here, you got to keep the ball off the ground because he's an inviting double play target if he hits a ground ball.
And Dylan Covey has been a ground ball factory at points in 2018, though the Cardinals have done a pretty good job tonight lately of elevating the baseball.
Well, Molina's had 4 sacrifice flies. He's rounded into 7 double plays, but 4 sacrifice flies shows you that in situations like this, he looks for the ball that he can hit in the air. As he leads the team in that department. And that's just good situational hitting.
He does fly this ball right of center field. Charlie Tilson into the gap, and this will get a run home. DeYoung scores. Martinez goes for 2, and he's there as well. So the Cardinals get 2 bases on the fly ball, and it's 4-2.
RBI number 39 for Yachty. And he gets the job done, as he usually does. That's 5 sacrifice flies. And the lead now a 2-run lead.
That's an unearned run. And Jed Jerko, who doubled on the first pitch of the 4th inning, facing Covey. We invite you to join us as well tomorrow night. It's Dollar Hot Dog Night presented by Securian Financial. It's also Steve Stone pays $1 a lot of times for a hot dog night.
Absolutely my favorite night.
More than regular dog night?
No, I like regular dog night. Yeah, I like the 4-legged dog night better than dollar hot dog night.
So what does the word favorite mean to you?
Means you get your choice.
I like that.
But because we have many more dollar hot dog nights than we have dog nights, I'll stick with both. They could both be my favorites.
I like the way you think.
Yeah.
Ball and 2 strikes for Jed Jerko. His brother Scott was a linebacker for the West Virginia football team for a couple of years. One, 2.
Pitch number 80 out of the way. Trying to get out of this 5th inning.
Part of the reason the Sox held the Cardinals down to 6 runs in 2 games in that series in May was kept Martinez quiet. He was 0 for 7. And today he's been a game changer at 2 for 2. An RBI single, a walk, and another base hit here in the 5th. Mentioned Don Cooper is away from the team today. Coop had wrist surgery. And so Kurt Hassler takes over today. The plan is to have Coop back tomorrow.
He's a quick healer.
Oh, yeah.
There's not much you can do as a pitching coach except the amount of pitches. You click those off.
Ball 4. Second walk for Covey. If Coop's watching, hi to Coop.
You'd think that he would be tuning in tonight just to see what his pitchers are doing.
Kurt Hassler to the phone. The other end of the phone. Operators can be real confused.
Well, you can see the red light flashing from here in the bullpen.
You think Kurt will run out and answer it?
No, maybe Don Cooper will answer it.
Mark Salas in charge of the phone today out in the bullpen. There he is.
He got the message, and that means that it's time to loosen someone up.
If Coop is watching the game, he'll be happy to know we noted that Martinez was 0 for 7 against the Sox in that last series. A guy the Sox just really have kept quiet for the season until today.
Well, perhaps high fastballs next time.
You think?
I would think that'd be a good plan.
1 ball, 1 strike on Fowler. That's in there for a strike. 1 and 2.
10 up and going, and it is Jace Fry.
Off day yesterday, the reset button for the bullpen, which is a nice luxury.
And the off day Thursday.
Yeah. Moncada, round number 3, but the leadoff error does come back to roost, and it's 4-2. The lead over the Sox, and it's Narvaez, Anderson, and Tilson to bat. Thanks for joining us tonight. He's Steve Stone. I'm Jason Benetti. You are you, wherever you may be. And we thank you for being a part of our telecast this evening. Hope to see you at the ballpark sometime soon, as Omar tries to continue his smoldering hitting. Takes ball 1.
Omar is also hitting the ball all over. Last year he got most of his hits to left center field. This year he's pulling the ball a lot more and getting some hits with authority.
Yeah, for power to right field.
Home runs and doubles.
One is there for a strike. 1 and 2. You said it earlier, Michaelis looks like he's not working out there.
No, and he can throw the 94-mile-an-hour fastball with the same motion he throws the 90-mile-an-hour, what appears to be a straight change, but is a fastball.
Then he can ramp it up to 95, 96, even in the 98 range.
And that's making your fastball into 2 or 3 different pitches, which is always advisable.
Off the plate away, so Michaelis pitching Narvaez all away.
Went to the 3-2 slider, so he has supreme confidence in it because you certainly don't want to walk the leadoff man.
Three balls, 2 strikes on Michaelis to Narvaez.
This is what we've seen Omar do a whole lot. Get the 3-2 and then spoil some pretty good pitches before the pitcher will make a mistake, and then he gets a good pitch to hit and usually hits it hard.
Three-two. Breaking ball, grounded foul. Omar again stays alive.
So he's spoiled a slider, 3-2. He's spoiled a fastball. Now he's spoiled a curveball, 3-2.
What do you got left?
Well, Michaelis got a straight change that he might break out of the bag. No, it's going to be a fastball away.
That was in the zone, and Omar plunges it foul.
Keeps on fouling off pitch after pitch. It's going to be a 10-pitch at bat at the very least.
Three and two again to second base and Colton Wong. Michaelis wins that war. Jump on board for Sail with the Sox Monday, July 16th. Experience the Home Run Derby in style with the White Sox Charities Young Professionals Council on Lake Michigan. Unlimited beer, wine, soda, and a buffet dinner while enjoying games and an out-of-the-park raffle to benefit White Sox Charities and the Amateur City Elite Ace program. Go to whitesox.com/YPC to get your tickets today. DeYoung at shortstop gobbles it up and has the second out.
Young might not have the greatest range at shortstop, but if he gets to it, he will throw you out. Got very sure hands, got a very strong arm, and he's accurate with it.
Two down for Charlie Tilson.
Our high-speed replay is powered by Xfinity, and it came on a base hit in the third inning, past the diving Carpenter into right field and drove home 2, giving Charlie 10 for the year, and at the time tied the game at 2.
And because he stayed at first base, his helmet stayed on,
which is always a good thing to do.
Fouled away, 1-1. Charlie's brother Will, by the way, is an outstanding blues guitarist. Plays a lot of gigs around here in Chicago.
Real name Wilson? Wilson Tilson?
No, not Wilson Tilson.
Just plain old Will?
Just Will.
I'd have named him Wilson.
Maybe William. Charlie seems like he comes from a great family, not people who would choose Wilson Tilson.
Well, you never know. It's catchy, certainly.
I know I'm going to find out tomorrow that there are like 3 Wilson Tilsons in the family, and there's great pride in that name, and you're going to be right, and it's going to be repulsive.
You
I'll
never
hear
know.
that evil cackle in my sleep.
You never know.
Why don't you grab a helmet full of something?
She's checking right now to see if there is a Wilson Tilson around after she takes a selfie.
I hope this ends up being good for Will's career. The whole Wilson Tilson bit. 3 balls and 2 strikes. First base side, Carpenter takes it himself, and the momentum brings him home. 9 in a row retired by Michaelis, and we'll go to the 6th. Beautiful night for baseball. Dylan Covey into the 6th inning to face Munoz first. Your thoughts on Dylan tonight?
I think the stuff is pretty good. He's gotten a little wild in the strike zone, where leaving a few pitches a little too hittable for these Cardinals. But I thought the stuff has been good. The sinker's been better than it's been of recent vintage. He's throwing some ground balls, throwing mostly ground balls.
For whatever reason, he's been better at home this year. Significantly.
Yeah, pick of the draw, and you never know why that is, but you get used to your home mound.
I mean, look at that split. It's one of the top 5 biggest gaps between a home and road ERA in baseball.
How about Lance Lynn? Same kind of split.
Wei Yin Chen loves Marlins Park.
He's the one.
Oh, come on.
No, I
they
mean,
got the statue.
Beautiful park. I didn't see it though.
No, you weren't there
No,
a couple
I
of
would
years
have
ago.
loved to have been, but prior commitments forced me to miss it.
Well, we know you weren't watching a Gene Wilder movie marathon.
Actually, I was. Blazing Saddles, Frisco Kid, very good.
Yeah.
Missed the Wonka though.
1-1. 2 balls and a strike on Munoz, who wasn't supposed to play today. Tommy Pham was in the initial lineup, and then about 40 minutes before the game, the Cardinals issued a new lineup with Pham out, DeYoung up from 8-2, and then Munoz into that 8 spot. Right back up the middle. Moncada has it go under his glove.
Yuan was there, but that ball flattened out, went under the glove and into center field. So Munoz with a base hit to lead off the 6th. The shift is right there. They got him in a good spot, but that ball short hopped Yuan, squibbed under the glove, and he's aboard. And here comes Ricky. You would think it would be Fry, because you got Wong and Carpenter up next, 2 left-hand hitters, and 2 guys who tonight have hit the ball well. So Dylan Covey's going to depart this one, and as he does, and as Jace Fry comes trotting in, we'll go stepping out and be back. He's put together a pretty solid year on for the 29th time. He's 0-1 his ERA, a touch above 3.5. Opponent's batting average, though, a very fine 176. He inherits Munoz at first base and nobody out.
Looking for his 4th bunt hit of the year, Colton Wong with a beauty.
That's just an outstanding bunt. And with the left-hander on the mound, you know he's going to fall off the mound to the third base side. And if you can drag it with you, it's almost impossible to get thrown out. And as soon as this ball winds up on the grass and goes far enough away from Narvaez, there's no chance at all to get Wong. This is just a great bunt. He shows it late. You see it on the grass, and then you might as well just put it in your pocket, Omar, because there's nothing you can do with it.
Boy, that's brilliant. The leg kick.
Yeah.
To show swing.
He disguised it well and put it down late.
12 infield hits this year, 4 of them bunt hits for Colton Wong. And now Carpenter, who's 1 for 3 with a single, a run scored, and a couple of punch outs. Strike 1. He's been a tremendous interleague hitter for his career, Matt Carpenter, and over the past couple of months, one of the top hitters in baseball for power and for average.
We saw him just starting to come out of it in St. Louis. That was the beginning of May.
And you see the slugging percentage since May the 16th, 660, 5th in all of baseball behind a bunch of all-stars. Carpenter, one of those possible all-stars in the final vote.
That was a nice stop by Omar as he shifts to his left. Make sure the double play is in order and make sure that ball doesn't get away. Omar has gotten a whole lot better over the last couple of weeks at moving, blocking pitches down, and stinging the baseball. It's really been a great turnaround for Omar, certainly, but along with Kevin Smith, the catchers for the Sox have been just terrific over the last month.
That one in the dirt and knocked down again. 2-2.
Well, that was another great stop, because Jace threw that ball maybe 50, 52, 53 feet. That curve well in the dirt. Omar able to get the left part of the chest protector on it, angle it so that the ball doesn't get away. It's one of his better efforts this year.
Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 on. Inside, 3-2 on Carpenter.
Most likely he's going to be in defensive swing mode, and with that in mind, Wong's got to get a good secondary lead because he's got to beat the force at second base.
Breaking ball that he just got a piece of. Cardinals got 2 in the 3rd on 4 straight hits, and then 3 more hits in the 4th inning. Scored 1 and had a runner thrown out at home. And then in the 5th, from a leadoff error, came run number 4. That's in the dirt, ball 4. Bases loaded, nobody out.
And now let's see what Ricky Renteria wants to do.
Well, DeYoung has rough left-handed splits this year.
Well, you got Bruce up, and you see Kurt Hassler going to Mark Salas to see if he's ready. He's been throwing all inning. I would assume he is ready, if in fact that's who they're looking for. But for the moment, no. Tough decision for managers. Doesn't matter what time of the game. They are all tough decisions.
Because you're thinking about tomorrow, and at least for Ricky Renteria tonight, tomorrow comes right before another off day on Thursday.
Well, what he's thinking about is, can Fry get out the succession of right-handers? DeYoung, Martinez, Ozuna, Molina, Jerko, all right-hand hitters, all coming up in succession.
1-2. Again, DeYoung has only hit 147 against left-handed pitching this year compared to 291 against righties. And then Martinez has actually been better average-wise against right-handers as well this year. DeYoung goes down swinging. Fry has a big first out.
And here comes Ricky after Fry gets DeYoung. He's going to Bruce. That pitch way out of the zone. Again, Omar makes a very nice stop of this one, and DeYoung is down on strikes for a huge first out.
So Ricky Renteria takes the ball from Jace Fry. And Bruce Rondon coming in. We mentioned earlier that Jose Abreu's been named an all-star starter, the first Sox position player since Frank Thomas in 1996. And Jose was asked if making the all-star team was one of his goals when the season started.
No, it wasn't one of my goals when the season started to be in the All-Star game. You know, my goal is always play hard from the beginning to the end and try to do my best to help this team to win games. You know, as I said, I think that if you take care of things that you can take care of, good things are going to happen, and I think that this is one of them.
That's Jose Abreu on the all-star team. And look, it's easy to say with professional athletes, you know, he's a really hard worker, he's a leader in the clubhouse, but what you can say about Jose Abreu that you can't say about everybody is that he has a sense of how important the game of baseball is, not only to his family but the fans as well, and he wants to, almost as if it was a person, treat baseball properly.
Well, who else would be concerned that his mother would think less of him if he sat out a baseball game and would ask him, why are you sitting out the game? So that's one of his considerations when he decides to play just about every day. And Bruce Rondon comes into this. He's got the bases loaded. He does have one out. On for the 35th time. He's 2-3. His ERA, airplane-like, 7.67. Opponent's batting average at .301, but a ground ball double play gets him out of the inning. A lot of Cardinal fans in attendance, mixed among Sox fans.
Dude on the left needed some sleep, I think. Hello.
Hello. Oh.
She was waving the wrong direction. She was actually on camera. Was trying to get the camera's attention while she was on camera. Here is Martinez.
Grounded into 10 double plays this year. That's #1 on the team.
In the air, right field side. Garcia sizes it up. He's underneath. And no tag. 2 down.
Well, Leary's got a very strong arm, and he showed it right there. Not only strong, but accurate. And no chance at all to score this time. Leary has all the best of it, sets up, and the throw is right on the mark.
So bases loaded, nobody out, becomes 1 out and now 2 out with no runs across, and Ozuna, who's 1 for 3. A little bit high at 97 from Bruce.
This becomes the biggest out of the ball game, because if you can wend your way by Ozuna, the team is right in the ball game. Anything less, as far as a base hit is concerned, puts the Cardinals a whole lot further ahead.
Bruce trying to rebuild that deep trust that Ricky Renteria had in him earlier this year when he was going like gangbusters.
He was going pretty well. Then he had 2 or 3 really disastrous appearances, but the last few appearances have been good.
2-0. Off Omar's glove, and a run comes in. Munoz scores. Wong to third. Carpenter to second.
That's going to be a pass ball. And all the good work this inning suddenly dissolves with a pass ball and a huge run. But he wants it low and away, and Bruce gets it inside off the plate. Off the webbing of the glove.
Ball four. There's going to be trouble anyway. With the 3-0 count with the bases loaded, now they're reloaded and Molina to bat. Two hits, 2 walks, 1 run in. Molina against Rondon. Line foul left side. That will go as an earned run against Covey because of the walk. So for Dylan Covey tonight, 5+. He gave up 9 hits, 5 runs, all earned. 4 earned, I should say. He walked 2, struck out 5.
And the Cardinal fans are chanting Yachty. And the Sox fans are booing them.
And drowning them out very well.
Yes, nice job.
0-1. Spiked. That was actually an impressive showing by the Sox fans with the Yachty growing. They just drown him out. They're trying again.
They're trying, but probably won't work.
No, you're right. It's not working.
Nope.
1-1 on Molina. Gets by Omar. Another run comes in.
Bruce has thrown a whole lot of pitches in the dirt, and that time Omar let one get by. So the first one could have been a pass ball. The second one is a wild pitch. Bruce just spikes that fastball. Looks like it hit the front of the plate and just flattened out and got by Omar. So yet another run comes in. It's a 6-2 game.
Kurt Hassler on the phone. Two-1. He goes to the slider and misses. 3-1. So that last run charged to Jace Fry. Carpenter at third is still his property. Ozuna at second is on Rondon's tab. 3 balls and a strike for Molina. He takes ball 4. They are loaded. The MLB.TV All-Star Sale is here for $39.99. Watch every Auto Market regular season game live or on demand. Your subscription includes MLB at Bat Premium, allowing you to watch live baseball on your favorite supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV to take advantage of this sale. So Kurt Hassler out to the mound. Don Cooper recovering from surgery today. He will likely be back tomorrow, and we hope the best for Coop, who's watching the game tonight. And Kurt Hassler with a final parting word for Bruce Rondon. What's his first pitch here, do you think?
Well, I would think the first pitch would be a fastball, but knowing Jerko and his propensity to hit fastballs, I would go to the slider. I think when Bruce is right, he has more confidence in his slider than he does his fastball.
Jed Jerko has been swinging it effectively on this road swing, and he takes ball number 1.
The fastball misses up and in. No margin for error once again.
Carpenter, Ozuna, Molina on the bases, and there's ball 2 that kicks away from Molmar.
Bruce occasionally has these nights where he cannot find the strike zone, and this has come at a bad time.
Close game has unraveled a bit. 2 hits, 3 walks in the inning. 2-0 to Jed Jerko. He takes ball 3. You got to take one here, right?
Oh, I would think so.
Ball 4.
Well, Bruce is unhappy, but you're not going to get a close pitch when you've thrown every one of the other pitches every which way.
And that's going to be it. 3 walks, 1 out for Rondon. Jace Fry charged with those last 2, and the Sox will turn to Hector Santiago in inning number 6, batter number 9 after this.
Ninth time, the record at 3-3, the ERA 5.29. We saw him in Cincinnati. That was about as good a performance as he's had since putting on a White Sox uniform either time he's put it on. 2 innings, 6 strikeouts. Didn't get too much better than that. He was able to win the ball game, and if possible, and you can't do it, save it for himself. So he's got the bases loaded. 2 outs here and coming out to try to stem the tide.
His opponent, Dexter Fowler, who's 1 for 3 in the game. Ball 1.
Fowler turns around to hit from the right side, which has been abysmal this year. He's got 3 singles and 40 at bats.
It's an .075 average. High into the sky. Left center field. Polka at the wall. It is out of here. A grand slam for Dexter Fowler. And the Cardinals erupt.
For Fowler, the first home run from the right side this year, giving him 6. He's now driven in 25. If the Cardinals were looking for a spark from Dexter Fowler, they've gotten it here tonight. Time now for our 4th drive of the game. He got a fastball down and hit it out. Towering fly ball. Just kept on going. Visit your local Ford store or buyfordnow.com.
Well, for Dexter Fowler, who was called out by John Mozeliak earlier this week for some effort questions and for not producing, he's only started a couple times in the last week. He was on the paternity list, and this is a big day for him. That grand slam and a 2 for 4.
There's no doubt. This could propel him to a great second half.
Charlie Tilson on the move to make the catch, and that is out number 3. 10 batters in the inning, none more important than Dexter Fowler. It's 11-2. Charlotte in the AAA All-Star break. Birmingham a win. Winston-Salem had 10 doubles as a team against the Salem Red Sox. 7-3 victory last night. Gavin Sheets with 3 of them, and here is one. That's a sweet left-handed swing.
High off the wall.
It's a tall wall there at Salem Memorial Ballpark, or whatever they're calling it right now.
It is that.
And Kannapolis a winner. Craig Didolo 1 for 3 with a 3-run double. That is our GMC down on the farm. Dylan Cease going to the Futures game along with Luis Basabe. Asked Chris Getz, the Sox farm director, the other day, who's been most impressive after the promotions the past couple of weeks, and he said both Dylan Cease and Luis Gonzalez would be his choices.
Dylan's got just great stuff and good secondary stuff to go with a huge fastball.
That Futures game is coming up Sunday, 4 o'clock Eastern time, I believe, from Nationals Park. Then the Home Run Derby on Monday, and Tuesday the All-Star game before the Sox open up the second half in Seattle and Anaheim.
Now what you're telling yourself on the mound if you're pitching in this situation is you're pretty happy that the 7-run outburst came after you'd qualify for the win. Sometimes you get that huge lead and you don't make it through the 5th inning.
Three and 2 on Yoan Moncada, who has been to a couple Futures games in his history. Just 23 years old. Up and out, and a rare walk for Michaelis.
That's just the 18th all year. So his control has been pretty much pinpoint. When you consider he's now thrown 114 plus innings and just 18 walks, that's awfully good.
4 of those, like we said, came in his last start. So even before that, his rate was better. Sanchez looks at a strike. Sox and Cardinals once again tomorrow night. That's a 7:10 first pitch. Luke Weaver and Carlos Rodon, your pitching matchup. Then over the weekend, the Sox and Royals reacquaint themselves with one another.
Been some time. I know Matt Davidson is happy to see him come back. Just soon face him in their park, but this would be second best.
Yeah, wherever. Kansas City in last place right now in the AL Central at 25 and 65 when play started today.
And Baltimore right there with him, 25 and 66.
Check swing, he didn't go, says Carlos Torres at third. Yolmer's decided to mothball those neon green glasses. He says they're just in their case. He hasn't felt like wearing them, even though they were a little more stylish, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, Me's looking for a hot streak with new glasses.
Popped it up. Colton Wong. Sox fans, StubHub is your ticket to once-in-a-lifetime experiences, from Chicago White Sox games to amazing concerts and shows you don't want to miss. StubHub, your ticket out. StubHub, the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Chicago White Sox. Have you used StubHub?
I have not.
It's very easy. Once you use it, you will love it.
Is that like a fan-to-fan marketplace?
I would say it is, yeah.
Okay.
Hypothetically, a marketplace where fans connect to fans.
Well, there you
as
go.
the copy just said.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to pitch to the social media people a series of videos where you encounter new technology and your immediate reactions at seeing it, like the Coke machine in the Houston press box.
That was great. Are you kidding? What a bonanza.
Wong at second, the flip, DeYoung, double play. 4 and 6 and 3 to end the 6th inning.
Checking an official White Sox debit card only available at your local Wintrust Community Bank. Go to wintrust.com/White Sox to learn more. Wintrust Community Bank, member FDIC.
I have a suggestion for Major League Baseball.
Sure.
And I think you're
I'm
actually
sure they'll be happy to hear this.
No, I think you're going to agree with me.
I probably not, but give it a shot.
After Wong singles, that's his third hit. A lot of stories have been written about All-Star snubs and Blake Snell of Tampa Bay, among other people,
yes,
who didn't get into the All-Star game upon the first vote. And part of that was the players' vote that kept those players like Snell out. Chris Archer posted a video online stumping for his guy and asking players to get more serious about their votes. Justin Verlander tweeted something about how important it would be for the players not to have to vote as early as they do, which by my understanding is a couple weeks or even a month out. The timeline is a little hazy, but it's definitely not like 3 days before that the players vote. And they're still mailing in their ballots, according to what Verlander said, reading between the lines. I think it might be time to have baseball start letting the players vote on their devices as well, to make the timeline less expansive between vote and final result being issued.
So here on July 10th, 2018,
yes,
you finally said something cogent as far as your suggestion to Major League Baseball. It took till July 10th, but I absolutely agree with you. Use any devices you have to get it there more quickly and closer to the All-Star game, so you can take into consideration all the pre-All-Star game statistics. And Blake Snell should have been there. He had a remarkable first part of the year, and you know, it happens every year. You do have guys who are snubbed, as they say. This is a tough one because he was outstanding, and you look at every one of his numbers and they're spectacular.
Best ERA in the American League.
I mean, really good. So he should have been there.
1-2. One breaks just outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. You may not agree with the way I presented it, however, because like a good politician,
yes,
I baked a couple things into the bill.
Yes, I know you.
So the Triples Derby is going to be a part of this.
Oh no!
If you sign off on the electronics,
we've got to. Well,
for the voting.
That's what the line item veto is all about.
That ball is ripped to right field. Carpenter on for the 3rd time. All right, let's quiz Steve on his own career. It is Sticks and Stone. It's brought to you by Volkswagen. Visit your local Volkswagen dealer or VWdealer.com. Speaking of the Triples Derby,
yes,
which of these former Cardinals hit 2 3-baggers off you?
Well, it could be all of them, but I'll say that it was not Gary Templeton, only because he spent so very little time there, but he might have picked up a couple of triples, being a switch hitter and all. And Bake was a terrific player. Reggie Smith was one of the guys I faced in the All-Star game, and he was a good hitter. So is this a trick question where they all got a couple of triples or just one?
We'll find out. You never know. According to...
I'll say Bake McBride.
You think so?
No, but I'll say it.
It's kind of an apocryphal, hazy description of where he got the nickname Bake. His dad was called Bake, and they called him Little Bake as he was growing up. But his full name was Arnold Ray McBride.
Not the hard bake.
No.
No, that was reserved for Dusty.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I was going to ask if you were planning to explain that.
So it wasn't him either.
Your guy.
Yep.
2 balls and a strike on DeYoung, who fouls it back. Oh, just split those 4 people. 2 went one way and 2 went the other. It was synchronized fandom.
I love the no trust in the screen, though.
Yeah.
That's probably a good plan.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Another foul ball. All right, here's the last foul ball, and watch the 4 fans behind the plate. See where they go. That's gold medal synchronized fandom.
Right down the middle. I think that's pretty good. You can always put your hands up when there's a screen in front of you. Not so much if that one's coming back with no screen.
Yeah, you're going to be.
No, you need the bailout.
2-2. High into the night sky. Foul ground, first base side. Jose is on the case. And out number 1. Let's see if it was Bake who hit 2 triples off you. Oh, nope.
Ooh, Reggie.
Oh, you got the horns.
I know. Well, I got him out in the All-Star game, so there.
You make your own sounds when you don't like the ones given to you.
Exactly right. 2 triples, huh?
Yeah.
At least they stayed in the park.
Those are the rosiest rose-colored glasses.
I'm a glass half full guy.
Here's Martinez. It's outside ball 1. Father, former Sox player. Jose Martinez's dad. Batting stance is fairly similar. Way out in front.
Well, that's what a catcher has to be aware of, and that's the off-speed pitch. Because on the off-speed pitch, when Martinez is well out in front, that's when the bat almost came back and got a piece of Omar.
How do you think you arrive at that batting stance? When does that motion start?
I think it starts with a lot of nervous energy, and then you start to hit the ball and you think that it feels pretty comfortable. He is a perpetual motion machine.
Human roller coaster. Strike called. That will not decrease the nervous energy, you'd imagine.
John Mayberry, hitting coach and dear friend of Mike Matheny.
Well, the one thing that they don't have a shortage of is poster shots of Martinez. Every swing could be laminated and put up on somebody's wall.
Well, he lets it all go. There's no doubt. He does not have a 2-strike approach. Unless that approach is hit it as far as you possibly can on 2 strikes.
Two and 2. Inside. 6 walks, 6 strikeouts for Sox pitching in the game. Cardinals aiming for the season sweep after a couple of 1-run victories back in May at Busch Stadium. 3-2 from Hector. Walk number 7 for St. Louis, and the bases are loaded again for Ozuna. You're never going to miss Ozuna in a crowd with that highlighter arm sleeve. Right field, Garcia toward the line. Sets up camp, makes the catch, no tag for Colton Wong. And 2 gone.
Another good throw to the plate by Leary. Good solid throw, and he's made 2 of them, and they've both been right on the mark.
Yadier Molina, as the Cardinal fans start to chant for Yadi again. See if the Sox fans drown him out successfully one more time. Strike one. Molina, since 2004, third best in Major League Baseball in wins above replacement for catchers. Joe Mauer first, no longer a catcher, so Molina really second place to Buster Posey by about 2. 0-2. He wanted to know if that was going to be a strike.
I think you could safely say yes. Cardinal fans very happy about this one.
Almost hit him, and frankly, it looked like he tried to turn the left arm into it.
That's a veteran move, especially when you have a padded up lead elbow. You don't mind getting in the way of one. Picking up another run batted in. He had one on the sacrifice fly in the 5th inning.
Scored a run in the 6th, that 10-batter 6th inning. Breaking ball blooped right side, and Moncada and Abreu, and it's Jose to make the catch. For round number 3, the Cardinals strand them loaded.
And apparently Bona sausage and Bona fries and condiments, because before the game the fine folks at Bona Beef treated our crew to some wonderful delights in the bright sunshine. An Italian beef and sausage picnic. Wrap your hands around the official Italian beef of the Sox at one of the 25 Bona locations.
Cardinals have gone to the bullpen. Steve.
And Brett Cecil comes into the ball game, and he's got a big lead to protect. Only 3 hits in this game, so Michaelis is out. Cecil comes out for the 23rd time. He's 0-1. His ERA about 3.5. When we were in St. Louis, the bullpen was a bit in disarray, but lately the pen has gotten better. And Francisco Pena has taken over behind the plate, so Yadier Molina's night is done, and a new battery.
Well, with a veteran who's played over 1,800 games in your jersey, there's an opportunity, especially since he's going to the All-Star game and won't get the relaxation everybody else will. You get a chance to give him a couple innings off. Mike Matheny finds that, especially for a former catcher as your skipper.
Yeah, being a catcher himself, he realizes that every few innings you can take off, especially for a veteran, is advantageous down the road.
Right side, Colton Wong for out number 1. We mentioned the Futures game coming up. Dylan Cease, Luis Basabe going for the White Sox, and Rick Hahn before the game mentioned how happy he is to see those names on the roster.
The fact that Dylan and Basabe are the 2 down there at the Futures game, in part because, to no fault of their own, in their own transactions publicly, they've got a little bit overshadowed by the headliners, so to speak, in those deals. But you know, the Quintana trade doesn't happen without Dylan Cease being part of it. He was a very important part of that for us, and we're thrilled to see him getting some recognition for his ability and his accomplishments, and the Futures Game honor is very fitting. Basabe obviously was overshadowed in the Sale trade by Moncada and Kopech, and they're bigger names, but our scouts felt very strongly about his upside and what his tool set presented, and certainly you saw it in Winston-Salem, the way he was able to perform at all-star level there.
That's Rick Hahn on Luis Basabe and Dylan Cease, and we've seen Cease go up to Double-A Birmingham and coast into that. Basabe has not put up the gargantuan numbers he put up in Winston-Salem, but two guys going to the Futures Game for the Sox.
Oh, that's exciting. I mean, you're getting a chance to play with the best of the future stars. And so, short of going to a regular All-Star game, that is about second best.
It's a really high percentage of players that go into the Futures Game that end up on major league rosters. Not our stars necessarily, but have careers in the majors.
Well, the object once you sign a professional contract is to get 1 day in the major leagues. Once getting 1 day, then the job is to stay there and see how many of those 1 days you can put together before you make yourself a pretty nice career. In this day and age of baseball, if you can stay around for a while, you can get yourself independently wealthy, take care of your family and most of your friends if you want to. So it starts with a professional contract, then leads to a Futures Game, and eventually you hope it's a regular All-Star game.
Into center field, Garcia with the Sox' first hit since the third.
Well, that one took the hat off of Cecil, and he's very fortunate that he was able to get under it.
Yeah, that was the Henry VIII.
Yeah. We'll take another look. Leary takes this one right back through the middle. And Cecil loses his hat, but that ball was well over his head, except the pitcher doesn't know that when it leaves the bat. You just want to get down as quickly as you can.
Garcia on, Narvaez batting. Omar after the first pitch. Munoz for round number 3. We'll go to the 8th with the Cardinals up in game 1.
There it is.
There it is.
The Cardinals. One more game here tomorrow night, then the off day on Thursday, and Kansas City comes to town, and then the All-Star break. Ram trucks built to serve.
Like you.
I get very excited with the Ram upcoming schedule.
Came out of your boots.
Yep.
Jed Jerko. First pitch swinging, and that's a foul ball, backing Torres up. Cardinals came in 46 and 43. I just saw on the WGN Twitter feed that Wizzo turned 84 today, and I thought that might have been a stand-in from the Bozo Show. A little Wizzo-like.
Youthful Wizzo.
I know you haven't seen Willy Wonka, but have you been to Harry's Chocolate Shop?
I haven't, but I'm planning to go. If I can find out where it is. I go to everybody's chocolate shop. Especially Mitchell's in Cleveland, by the way.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah. Should have baked the cake.
There's ball 4. We saw the upcoming schedule. Sox are taking on St. Louis and Kansas City. And I think that means it's time for our random White Sox leaderboard of the day.
Okay.
Most White Sox hits by Missouri natives.
Well, Joe Crede leads the bunch.
Then Al Smith of Kirkwood and Ken Berry of Kansas City. That's our random White Sox leaderboard of the day. You can send yours in to us at Jason Benetti and at Steve Stone on Twitter, and we may show your random White Sox leaderboard. Who knows what random leaderboard Steve Stone will show up on? Most wins from the Cleveland area.
No, couldn't possibly be.
Most sarcastic comments.
That could absolutely probably be.
Other leaderboards that you might show up on? Anything popping into your mind?
Not yet.
Most Altoids tins signed?
And Greg Holland loosening in the pen.
Ball and 2 strikes on Fowler, who may have had a pivotal night in his season tonight. We'll see. But the grand slam and the smile thereafter seemed to be a load off.
Well, signing Dexter Fowler to a 5-year contract, the Cardinals have to have him start to come to life regardless of where he plays in the outfield.
He goes down swinging there. Santiago strikes him out. 1 down. Well, the Cardinals came into this game causing big trouble for opposing pitchers the 3rd time through the order. Their offense was 4th best against a pitcher who they had seen a couple of times previous. And Dylan Covey, both the 2nd and 3rd time through, saw somewhat rockier seas than the first time around. Anderson jumping grab. 2 down.
This ball hit off the end of the bat, and many times when that happens, nobody can really tell how hard the ball is hit. Tim actually went up well before the ball got there, and fortunately was able to stay up long enough to make the catch.
We thank our tweeters, by the way. The tweet just came in from Dan Chase reminding me that Harry's Chocolate Shop is a bar in West Lafayette, Indiana. This is now the 2nd time that's come up during a sporting event that I've been commentating on, and I've not known what it is.
It's a bar.
You would think
Indiana.
I would, after the first time when our friend Robbie Hummel mentioned it, I would have maybe retained that information.
No, that's too much to ask.
It's tough. From the description I've gotten,
Well, this is normally when retention span of a sea bass would apply.
Is that the leaderboard I
Yeah.
show up on?
Pretty much.
It's not a candy store, by the way. In the air, right field. Garcia can only look up. It is out of here for Colton Wong, who has 4 hits tonight.
Seventh home run, and he's now driven in 21. He gets most of that fastball. It's out away, and he puts a charge into it. High leg kick, pretty much the sweet spot of the bat. 1 triple away from the cycle, and hopefully we don't see him again in this one.
Santiago to Carpenter. Hector just missed. That is strike 3, but the Sox so far tonight have played an 8-inning game of Angry Birds.
Back to the 4th inning. This one in the gap. And a couple of good relays. One by Leary, one by Tim. And it's down at the plate. When you think of garages, think Danley's. Greg Holland comes in the ball game. We will tell you about him in a moment.
We'll tell you right now.
On for the 28th time, his ERA up past 8. Opponent's batting average at .322.
Carpenter. Let's go some places.
Well, it's always time for Toyota going places. When you go places, you have to use Toyota. And let's go places with Edwin Diaz. 35 for 38. His stuff is magnificent. Opponent's batting average at 155. 78 strikeouts in 47 innings. Yikes. So let's go places with Toyota. Toyota going places.
Well, we're going to his place after the All-Star break.
Yes, we are, and hopefully he can stay out of them. Because when he's in, it's not good.
How about that mechanic from Holland there? He fell off the mound. A little hitch in the delivery.
Yeah. Well, that can happen to you. At one point, he was absolutely an unhittable closer for Kansas City. Moved around a bit since then. He went out to Colorado. Found out what a lot of people do with big curveballs.
You shouldn't go there.
Not a great place.
Out of Western Carolina University in lovely Cullowhee, North Carolina. You been there?
One of the ones that I missed.
Of the directional Carolinas?
But I missed it.
Three balls and a strike on Charlie Tilson. Mentioned off the top of the show, Avi Garcia placed on the disabled list with a hamstring strain. So Ryan Lamar picked up off of waivers from Minnesota for Ricky Renteria to have on the bench. Charlie Tilson takes ball 4. Time for this day in history in the Major League All-Star game. Carl Hubble of the Giants in order. Very early All-Star game, just a couple years into it. Ruth, Gehrig, Fox, Simmons, and Cronin.
He had a great screwball and apparently mystified some pretty good hitters. Looks like the entire Hall of Fame. Or a good portion of the early Hall of Fame.
The other day was the anniversary of the 1983 50th anniversary All-Star game here in Chicago. Moncada trying to protect his 7-game hit streak.
Only 4 hits tonight. One by Liuri, one by Omar, one by Tim, and one by Charlie Tilson. That drove home a pair.
I have something I need to share with you about the All-Star game.
Okay.
That may not make you terribly happy.
Oh no. What?
So we've been talking about why they don't have the All-Star game exactly at the halfway point, and you said you couldn't move it back, right?
Depends on when you started the season.
Right. Well, back in '83, I was looking at this the other day.
Yes.
With it being the anniversary and whatnot.
Yeah.
The All-Star break was actually after game number 77.
Yeah, but you
for
moved
the
it up.
Sox that
That's
year.
not good either.
On the corner, called strike 3. Moncada disagrees, and 2 down. You wouldn't do that again?
No.
For an anniversary's sake or something like that?
Mm-mm.
You're not nostalgic in any way?
No.
I just don't. We call it first half, second half, and the Sox are playing game number 91 tonight.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
It's one of the anomalies of the game.
Martinez running wind sprints.
I can understand why you'd do that.
What about that?
Not why you'd do that, but I can understand why you'd be running.
Have you ever sashayed in the 8th inning?
No, they outlawed that. That just came in later.
After the 7th inning, it closed?
Yeah. But if you're going to be,
Let's do chin-ups.
if you're going to be the designated hitter and you're not used to being a designated hitter, you got to find something to do.
That's very true. That is the plight mentally
Yeah, I mean
of the DH.
that's what happens, because when you play all the time, you're loose, you're ready to go, you're feeling good,
looking for Easter eggs in the cubbies there.
Now he knows that he's coming up second in the ninth, so he wants to do everything he can to loosen it up.
Cafecito.
Yeah, one of those two.
Little cafe.
Is that what it is?
Mm-hmm. That's why Yolmer used to be called Carlito. His father was Carlos, so he became Carlito.
Now he's Yolito?
No, he's just Yolmer.
Oh, okay. Well, you got to be loose at this point, I would assume. Now you got to put all the guard on because you never really know. You think you know, but you don't know.
Yeah, the inning may just end abruptly.
And they might force you into service, so you got the lead arm padded up. That's good. You got to put one on your leg, of course, in case you foul one off.
Tag to right center field. This will not be caught. It's down onto the ground over the wall. Charlie Tilson is going to get sent back to third. Sanchez with a double.
Wilmer was probably hoping for a couple of different reasons that it stayed in, because if it hits the top of the wall and bounces back, he's going to drive home a run and probably yet another triple. But one hop out of the ballpark. It's 2 bases and no RBI. This is a rolling breaking ball, and that's one of the biggest differences for Holland these days over what he was. It was a nose-to-toes curveball that was pretty much unhittable with Kansas City. Now he rolls a few more. Fowler can't get to it. And one hop out of the yard.
Here's Abreu. There once again is the least likely man to win a staring contest. Or one of those contests where 8 people are in a mall and they all start with one hand on the car, and whoever has the hand on the car last wins it. He's out after 2 seconds.
I was going to say that will never fly. Talking to anyone who would care to listen. Trying to loosen up his lips for his designated hitter role.
You've definitely had teammates like that. Guys who just get lonely in the dugout and want to talk to anybody.
These guys who hated not playing.
Who was most like that you played with that you recall?
A gentleman by the name of John Lowenstein, who did not play every day anyway, but he was full of mirth.
Always wanted to chat you up.
Yep. Interesting character with Baltimore, played for Cleveland and Texas.
On the ground left side, Jerko cuts it off and has out number 3. We'll go to the 9th. Don't worry. You get to bat now. Jose's up second. Side of it. Thanks for hanging with us tonight. He's Steve Stone. I'm Jason Benetti. We're glad to have you along wherever you may be. Watching in Canada, we've had people watching there. Some folks in Sweden over the course of the last couple years.
Rusty EpiPen, huge fan.
The breaking ball high, 1 ball and 1 strike. Bobby Jenks,
Fresh out of retirement, into the bleachers.
It's going to be fun this weekend with the 1993 reunion. It is very hard to believe that that was 25 years ago.
Went fast for me. How about you?
Real fast.
25 years.
They ran into a really good Blue Jays team.
Yes, they did. 2 years in a row for that Blue Jays team.
High pop up. Back of home. And a souvenir.
They were managed by a really good baseball man and a wonderful man, Cito Gaston, just terrific.
Turned out that it was his first of 2 go-arounds with the Blue Jays. Three and 2 on DeYoung. Who was not born yet when that team was formulated and had that great '93 season for the Sox. DeYoung 24 as of today, and that is going to turn into a base.
Looked like Hector wondered how it was thrust in front of him after it went off the glove. So this part of it's good. Then the ball just accelerates, and Hector tripped over the mound, so it does go as a base hit of the infield variety.
DeYoung has been a blue-collar man tonight. He's been on base 3 times. Down the right field line toward the corner, and that's a fair ball ringing into the deep corner. Here comes DeYoung, and he's home. It's an RBI double. Martinez was so itchy to swing the bat. First pitch. Some thunder.
Well, without all that warming up, he'd have never been able to do this, and that one just inside the line, so he takes it opposite way. 3 hits, 2 walks, a very busy night for their designated hitter.
There may be, after that display in the dugout, there may be a team vote to never let him DH again.
Doesn't have to worry about it as long as he's wearing the Cardinals on his chest. There's a lot of American League teams might be taking a look at that.
In all seriousness, though, generally we don't see DHs and what they do in between at bats, but quite often they'll go to the cage, get some swings in, they will run, but it typically doesn't happen outside.
In the dugout? Well, he typically is not a DH, but he's enjoying it tonight. Normally a first baseman for this club.
Two and 0.
He's looking back and smiling at Kerwin Danley going, really? Well, it's 14-2.
It's become a start for Hector Santiago. 61 pitches.
That's what he is charged with doing, picking up the innings, saving the bullpen, although the bullpen is starting to get loose again.
Sox have used Fry, Rondon, and Santiago so far tonight. To third, and Sanchez sliding into place. Yolmer, nifty play.
This is a good play by Yolmer because this is a tough play. Going to his left, that ball flattened out. He had the glove down, stayed right with it, and threw it across to get him.
Every Cardinals starter has been involved in either an RBI or a run scored so far tonight as Pena bats for Molina.
Cards pen up and going. John Brebbia.
Former Rule 5 pick. Hector's just got to be gassed.
Well, we'll see.
Whether that matters or not. It's been a long outing, 65 pitches.
Yes, it has.
Cardinals have tested our microphone behind the plate a couple of times tonight.
None the worse for wear.
There is the microphone. Multiple microphones.
Very durable microphones.
Into the glove for strike 3. Pena's down, 2 away.
Time now for StatCast, powered by AWS, and it's a grand slam by Dexter Fowler. 101.5 exit velocity and a towering fly ball going 393 feet.
I think it's time we rub AJ's hair for good luck on the bobblehead.
It's a good thing.
Yeah. No, don't hit him in the head for good luck.
Oh, I thought you said no.
Different verb. You can get those pretty little things at whitesox.com/AJBobble to support White Sox charities. Turn that frown upside down, created by the scoreboard. Yeah, fouled off the body, 1-2. There it is, the A.J. Pierzynski bobblehead doll. Proceeds benefit White Sox charities and Make-A-Wish, Illinois. One, two. Check swing. Well, St. Louis no longer has a football team, so every once and again the Cardinals have to put up 14.
Just to be reminded of the good old days.
In case you missed it, Cardinals in the 6th inning got an Isaac Bruce 35-yard touchdown catch. Jeff Wilkins' extra point was good. It was a 7-run inning for the Cardinals tonight. Two and two.
Is Hector just trying to get out of this one and make sure nobody's hurt?
Two balls, two strikes. Martinez at second. High fly ball, left center field. Tilson. And that is it for the Cardinals in this 9th inning. Sox will bat after this.
27th time. He's 1-3 ERA at 4 1/4. Been asked to save a couple of games and did it twice.
Last 3 times out, he's gone 3 1/3, allowed 6 earned runs, so a chance to try to get him back on the straight and narrow for Mike Matheny, as Holland went 1 inning, gave up 1 hit, 1 walk, 1 strikeout, no runs. Brebbia will face Palka first. Daniel still looking for his first hit against St. Louis in 2018 after the 2 one-run victories for the Cardinals back at Busch Stadium in May. Brebbia's got strike 1. Well, the thin silver lining tonight is Hector Santiago helped the bullpen out.
Once again, I mean, that's been his job. He's going to throw a lot of innings in games that are very similar to this game and try to save the pen, which he did tonight.
9 spot Charlie Tilson goes 1 for 2, drives in the 2 runs for the Sox and drew a walk as well. 0-2 from Brebbia. Tomorrow, Carlos Rodon on the mound. Luke Weaver for the Cardinals. There's Carlos. He's talking to James Shields. Carlos against Houston, 2 runs on 5 hits in 6 innings against the Astros. He was very good. Control was a little short-circuited at times.
But his stuff was right where it should be.
You think so?
Yeah, I think he probably was pretty happy, all things considered, with that outing.
A couple times it looked like on the mound he felt like he got squeezed.
Well, I think he probably did, and it gets a little frustrating, as he showed, certainly.
Three balls, 2 strikes on Palka. Fastball for strike 3. We told you Ryan Lamar has joined the White Sox, and he knows Matt Davidson from his past, and he has something in common with Matt as well.
It was pretty crazy. You know, we were getting beat pretty good, and I was actually playing center field all game. So I kind of saw the coaches kind of putting their heads together, and I felt like they were looking out towards me. And then I saw Molly go out to the mound, but there was nobody loose in the bullpen. So I looked around, and I kind of figured it was going to be me, and just changed gloves and ran in there.
That was a game earlier this year for the Twins against the Yankees. And you see a meeting at the mound, and everybody's looking at you. You think, oh, boy, something's going to happen here. And Lamar went in and pitched. He did not have the success.
I was going to say, I'm not sure that he looked as good as Matt Davidson looked, but you still got to go out there and save your bullpen on occasion.
He did give up a home run to Tyler Austin in that game. The question, though, is, has there ever been a team with more position players who've pitched in their career than this current iteration of the White Sox? Davidson has, Lamar has, Leori Garcia did a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're going to have to ask our friends at Stats Inc.
I would say there have to be another group with more than 3.
3 position players who've pitched?
Sure.
Called strike 3. Matt didn't like it. But it's late.
Threads a needle on the outside corner, and at 14-2 gets the benefit of the call.
Yeah, whether or not that should be the case, have any bearing on it, it may. And 2 down for Garcia, although the pitch was close.
It was too close, as it turned out.
Brebbia on 1-0. Left field. Ozuna toward the line. He is there and he makes the catch. And the Cardinals win by the count of 14-2. So we'll step aside. We'll wrap it up from here at Guaranteed Rate Field. St. Louis now 4 games over 500.